All right, bro. Congrats to the Warriors again. I saw this thumbnail and I said I have to hop into the video and see what Jimmy Harold is talking
Go our
about.
way. I
So
don't know
let's
how. There's
see.
many different ways to say it, but it's
Hey,
it's it,
do y'all think the Warriors would be like a championship contestant for next year? Anybody that watched the video, do y'all think that they'll be as dominant as this year, or this will be their last year?
was a special year, all things
What y'all
considered.
think?
And a new experience for me, Draymond Loon. Tried to make the most of it. Come back, bottle this up. Everybody make the right strides, take advantage of the summer, and you don't want to see us next year.
They didn't, Curry. They
And
didn't.
that'll do it. It's over. The Golden State Warriors return to a familiar place. They're on top of the NBA world. The fourth title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
He called it.
Mm.
Against all odds, the Warriors are now the 2022 NBA champions.
Congrats to them,
this
beasts.
team that was dead in the
Without Clay and Draymond, by
water
the way.
just 2 seasons ago has been crowned NBA champions. But this team had no business even being here in the first place. This Warriors team was never supposed to win this championship. A roster full of has-beens and fringe players making a run at a championship? It's impossible. Well, at least it should have been impossible. But they've got Stephen Curry. And as I was watching Steph completely dismantle the Boston Celtics on their home court to close out the finals, I thought to myself, I'll more than likely never see another player like this in my lifetime.
In what way? In what way?
Steph is doing cannot be duplicated or repeated. He
Wow.
is truly a one of one. And I think it's time we take a closer look at where he ranks among the greatest players to ever play this game. Because the Warriors should have never won this championship.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but when he say like he's a phenomenal player and he's never seen anybody like him, in what way? He like in the shooting wise, I would agree. But what
Today's
he,
video is brought to you by
what do you mean other than that?
NBA season. There's the buzzer. There's a new dynasty in the NBA. The Golden State Warriors champions once
The
again.
Golden
Back-to-back
State
titles,
Warriors.
and the latest with a sweep.
Do y'all remember exactly where you were and how you felt when this happened? I do. I vividly remember watching the Warriors dismantle the NBA year after year on their way to an all but certain championship. I remember sitting idly by as my favorite
This guy,
player was getting
Draymond, bro, I
walked out
can't
of the
stand this
building
guy,
in the
man.
finals. It was inevitable, and it felt perpetual. Like the reign of the Golden State Warriors was never going to end, and I would spend the rest of my days watching this unbeatable, unstoppable.
You know what's funny too is not. Oh, look at JaVale. What's funny is that they're not only like a good offensive team, they can lock you up on defense too. You know what I'm saying? Like on defense, like with the Boston game 6, bro, they locked Jason up. They locked like they locked everybody up, and they were like deadly on offense too. So
Goliath of a basketball team made quick work of every single organization that stood in their way. I felt hopeless. The Warriors pushed me to the brink of insanity, and it was never going to end. Or at least that's what I thought.
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant.
he the Kawhi one, the Kawhi champ.
Thompson running the floor. And a foul.
Yeah, this injury changed a lot of stuff
Thompson grabs his
in the
foot.
Golden State dynasty.
Past the big man, he closed out on a shooting hand side.
Ah, this one too.
With a lot of contact.
I was so scared for Curry right here, bro, because it was his shooting wrist too. So
He's holding that left wrist.
And that was it. A 5-year run, cementing their spot as one of the greatest dynasties in NBA history.
True.
All came crumbling down in a matter of moments. Goliath had fallen, and for the first time in half a decade, the door was open for
they should make a documentary about.
The Raptors won their first championship in franchise history. The Bucks won their first championship in half a century, and the Lakers were crowned champions for the first time in a decade.
Yo, do y'all believe if the Golden State team stayed the same, do y'all believe they would have been able to win championships? Like, do y'all believe that they were able to win championships in a row? What do y'all think?
Dragon had been slayed, and I could now rest knowing the Golden State dynasty was behind us.
6 NBA finals in 8 years. 4 NBA championships.
Yo,
A remarkable run by any
Curry's inspirational, bro.
handful of teams.
Yeah, inspiration. This team an inspiration. The pool too. To see a guy to be the 28th pick, everybody doubting him, nobody even taking him seriously, bro. Like the whole draft, everybody got home, and then they picked him, and then he evolved, and he becomes this confident player that does shots that are not fathomable. Him shooting stuff, him driving, him like having the package, him doing everything, bro. It's just motivational, bro. You feel like you want to go outside and hoop. For real. Wiggins too, being in the Timberwolves and being thrown to Golden State, and him to not be doing so well at the beginning and now flourishing is so good, man.
And roster changes and ups and downs and everything in between, the Warriors are champions once again. We said they were getting too old. We said they were too injured.
They are,
We
but this team, I don't think this team, I don't think this team depends on age that much. You know why? Because their whole game is the 3 game. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's exhausting, but it's not exhausting as, for example, the game that LeBron plays, where he's like defense offense, and he's just like slashing, getting inside, dunking, or slashing, getting a layup, or sometimes shooting a 3, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's not the same game that Curry or Clay got, you know. And plus, both of the major players, their age doesn't depend. Like, their age doesn't change a lot about their game, which is catch and shoot, a lot of dribble pull-ups, which in my opinion doesn't take the amount of energy that it takes for a player like LeBron, for example. Draymond is a player that usually stay in the paint, plays football. I don't think that. Yeah, that takes a lot of energy, but like, what are his stats? 4 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. Usually, Game 6 he balled out. He got 12. He got 12, 12, and 6, I think, or something like that. So I don't think this team depends on age that much. I don't think this team depends on young bloods that much. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. I don't know.
We said they couldn't win without Kevin Durant, and they proved us
Nah, they
all
could. They could.
wrong.
I mean, at the beginning they won
Last
without him.
season, if you told me the Warriors were going to win another championship, let alone a championship this season, I would have checked you into a mental institution. They went from one.
You know who's the one that should be screaming out? I told you, Flight. Because Flight been saying they gonna win the championship. I know Flight been saying it delusionally without even like just because he's on the bandwagon of the Golden State. I know, but he was one of the content creators that been saying that the Golden State would be winning, and everybody was laughing about it.
One of the best teams
So,
in the history
props
of
to
the
him.
NBA, to the worst team in the NBA, to champions again.
This
In
dude,
record
D'Angelo
time,
Russell,
just take a moment to
whenever he
appreciate
changes
this
to a team,
roster
that
defied
team
all odds
gets
and
trasher and
became
trasher.
champions. Out of
Like he got to the Lakers became trash. He got to Brooklyn, same thing. He got to Golden State, same
the
thing.
14 players that suited
Timberwolves,
up for postseason,
Timberwolves, I
6
guess
of
he's
them
doing okay.
Had 0 playoff experience. Instead of seeking
Mm.
out the brightest stars around the league, the Warriors went and acquired players that fit within their system and maxed out their potential. They
Yeah.
found value in guys like Gary Payton Jr. and Otto Porter Jr. They saw immense utility
Will
in guys
Chamberlain.
like Andrew Wiggins and Jordan Poole, and gave them a chance to shine on the biggest stage. Even Andre Iguodala, the oldest player in the entire NBA, played a crucial role as a
True.
mentor and a leader for
True.
the Warriors throughout the playoffs.
True.
This
That's
was-
what's about basketball. It's not only about scoring and assisting, I think. And anybody that watches will say, "Oh, but you said Draymond was not scoring and assisting, but he was doing some other stuff." No.
was a masterclass on coaching, adjustments, and players buying into their role and maximizing their impact on the game. The catalyst of this improbable run, the once-in-a-lifetime talent of Stephen Curry. Before this year's playoffs, we were asked who had the most to prove and whose legacy would be altered the most with the championship. I thought maybe Chris Paul.
I don't think Chris
James
Paul
Harden,
will get a
maybe
ring.
even
I don't
Luka
think so.
Doncic. But the answer all along was Stephen Curry.
True.
Because now that he has a long-awaited, well-deserved Finals MVP, the man has done it all. 4
True.
championships, 2 MVPs, 8 All-NBA teams, 8 All-Star appearances,
Broke the
2
3
scoring
record.
titles, an All-Star MVP, most three-pointers in NBA history,
Yep.
and a Finals MVP. One of the greatest careers the NBA has ever seen.
The only thing that Curry, like, he obviously has nothing else to prove. But the only thing that he ain't got nothing else just to multiply his numbers. So for example, he got one NBA Finals MVP, he get 2 or 3, or you know what I'm saying?
Years old,
Like,
he is still as incredible as ever.
yeah, because his game doesn't depend on a lot of energy.
Now, as NBA fans, we have an unhealthy obsession with all-time rankings, moving players around on our all-time list every other week like some sort of sick game of musical chairs. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, I think we can all agree that there are a handful of players that remain a step above everyone else. And these are those players. Now, where you choose to rank these players will be different depending on who you ask. Personally, I have them ranked like this.
Kareem, yeah, that's a good list, bro. That's a good list. That's a good list. But can I take a second and put my list? I'm gonna say Michael Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Kobe, Magic. Oh, hold on. Michael Jordan, LeBron. No, Michael Jordan, Kareem, Larry Bird, because I love Larry's game. Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Will Chamberlain, Bill Russell, Tim Duncan, Shaquille O'Neal.
Now,
That's
this
my list.
all-time top 10 has virtually remained the same for years. The most recent player to be on this list was LeBron James, who's been on it for about a decade now.
True.
And before him, the most recent players to join this exclusive club were Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant.
Or I can also put Kareem too. I can put Kobe and then LeBron. I'll put Kareem, Larry, Kobe, and then LeBron.
Regardless of where you choose to rank these players among your all-time top 10, the players that make up this top 10 haven't budged in over a decade.
True.
Recently, I was tempted to add Kevin Durant to this list, but realistically, I couldn't bring myself to remove anyone in his place, so he remains on the outside looking in. But after this championship run by Stephen Curry and his entire season as a whole, the time has come. It's time we added
Who you gonna replace, bro?
to this list. It's been a long time coming, and it's well deserved. Stephen Curry is now undebatably a top 10 player of all time.
I don't know about that one, man. I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. This guy here, bro, this freak, I don't know, man. I don't know. For me personally, I wouldn't put Stephen Curry. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Nah. He's good. He's a legend. But no, bro, I wouldn't put Stephen Curry. I mean, yeah, he said personally for him, but for me, I mean, Will Chamberlain, bro, this guy, like, he did stuff that will never be like done again. And some old heads will also say that Will Chamberlain is the GOAT of basketball. So I don't think this is a good move, man.
Season has cemented his spot on this list. Every all-time player has won with their respective organizations. This is a definitive requirement of greatness. But only a few players made such a massive impact that the success of an entire franchise began and ended with them. Tim Duncan introduced winning basketball to San Antonio. They couldn't win before he got there, and they haven't won since he left. Michael Jordan didn't just win with the Bulls. He was the Bulls. Stephen Curry
for real.
Just winning in a Warriors jersey.
He's the
He
Warriors.
is the Golden State Warriors.
True.
In
Cool.
2009, he came into
I hope Stephen Curry retires in Golden State. I hope
a
so.
struggling franchise, and over the last 13 seasons, he has turned them into a behemoth. See, it's one thing to come into a franchise that has seen
Curry.
success, one that has won before him and has championship DNA. It is a completely different accomplishment to be drafted to a franchise that has never even sniffed a title and turned them into a dynasty. Russell did it, Mike did it, Duncan did it, and Steph has spent the last decade
He
doing it
did.
as well.
He did.
You
He
don't have
did.
to watch Steph tear your favorite team apart to see his generational impact. Steph is as important to the Warriors' success as any player has ever been to any team in NBA history. Here's a chart of the top 10 players all time and how many wins they added to their respective teams over the course of their entire career. For example, throughout Wilt Chamberlain's career, his team won 7.5% more when he played versus when he didn't play. Shaq's teams won 15% more when he played versus when he was sitting out. Now, anything above 10% is incredible, and nearly all of these players are far above that threshold. When Kobe played, the Lakers won 21.5% more games than when he didn't. Larry Bird led to the direct result of the Celtics winning 22.8% more games. And, of course, the two players that had the largest biggest impact on their team's success are Michael Jordan, and with a large gap above
LeBron
everyone else,
James.
LeBron James. But the most important, most impactful, game-changing player for any franchise in the history of the NBA is
Steph?
Stephen Curry.
Nice.
The Warriors win over 32% more games when Curry is playing versus when he's not. That is the equivalent
Yeah, he a
of
legend.
Steph adding an additional 26 wins for the Warriors over the course of each regular season of his entire career, just by himself. But this isn't some sort of theoretical impact found by just using numbers. We have seen with our own eyes just how lost the Warriors are without Steph.
Hey, that's true, bro. That's true. I think Curry is without Stephen Curry, there ain't no Golden State. Even with Clay, even with KD, even like without Stephen Curry, bro, this guy runs the team. He gives key passes. He scores when it's important. He gives assists to important people. He knows who to pass to. He knows when to pass to. He knows when to drive. He knows when to shoot. He's just got a complete game. The only thing that's lacking athleticism, and I think a player with his style don't need athleticism in any shape or form. Yeah, he's strong. I mean, look at his arms. He's developed his physicality throughout the years. He could get it through contact. He could do floaters. He could do a lot of stuff. I think this player is the most complete player in our generation right now. And yeah, man, that's the video. See y'all in the next one.